Hey, Coach Miller here with BTB Lax. I'm inside the studio, and what I want to talk about today is Michigan lacrosse and the rise that they have made over the last couple of years, and more importantly, what they have coming up, because they have a brutal schedule with a ton of ranked teams. So we're going to take a look at the program and see a few clips of one of the recent games against Jacksonville. But first, let's take a look at their facility, which they built in 2018. So here you can see the lacrosse facility at Michigan. Brand new facility that opened in 2018, which I just stated. Here are some more pictures. You can see they have an indoor turf room as well. They have a team meeting room. Those are the locker rooms. It's a really nice program, so they've been able to recruit top talent. Kevin Connery is their head coach. He became the head coach there in 2017. He came there from Maryland, where he was a defensive coordinator, coaching under Coach Tillman. And actually what we're going to talk about is how Michigan took down Maryland in the Big Ten finals last year to win the Big Ten championship and get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. Here you can see some highlights from the Michigan-Maryland game last year, where Michigan won by 9 goals, giving them an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, where they won their first round game. This win over Maryland was a huge win for the program and set them up well with recruits and attracting transfers. They opened up against Virginia, where they lost 19-11, but since then they've won 5 games in a row, including a 3-game spring break trip where they beat Marquette, Jacksonville, in Delaware. Their next game is against Harvard, who's currently 19th in the country. Then they play Notre Dame. Then they play Maryland. Then they play Johns Hopkins, Rutgers, Penn State, and Ohio State. So that is a killer schedule, and we'll see what they're made out of, because they have some momentum coming off that spring break trip. But now let's dive into some of their players and take a look at some of the clips from the recent Jacksonville game, where they went down to Florida and got a victory. But first, I want to talk about one of their best attackmen, Michael Boehm. He's from St. Ignatius in Ohio. He's 5'10", 170 pounds, and he's won a ton of awards. Last week, he was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. He's on the Tiernan Award watch list. He is a third-team preseason All-American. Last year, he scored 45 goals and had a total of 73 points. He's been a big factor in the he's had a big impact on the Michigan team since his arrival as a freshman back in 2021. Another guy I want to talk about is Justin Tiernan, a transfer from Lehigh, who's making a big impact on the Michigan roster as well, scoring a lot of goals. He's a big guy, 6'3", 200 pounds. Last year on Lehigh, he was third in the team in points with 55. He had 46 goals, so he can find the net. He was also a team captain, and we'll point out several clips in this Jacksonville game where we're seeing him making some big-time plays. Sets the stage early just by getting to the center of the field. All these D-middies are told to funnel these guys down the side and not let the offensive player cross the middle of the field. But there he gets that step on him. No late slide for a big first goal. Let's take a look at Jacksonville's first goal here. Jacksonville actually played a really good first half in this game. They didn't play as well in the second half. They had barely any turnovers in the first half, and then in the second half they started having a lot more turnovers, and the Michigan face-off guys started to dominate. So here we can kind of see, we see this a lot, these like two-man games in lacrosse. And over here, I mean, it's pretty good defense. You can kind of see the long pulls on the shorty. And I would think that this goalie might want this back. This around 12 yards. But that gets Jacksonville on the board early for a 1-1 game. Hey, quick interruption. If you want a free 3-part training series on all the mechanics of shooting, simply click the link right below in the description of this video. I got my good friend Scott Urich to walk you through his shooting system. Scott was an All-American at Georgetown University. He played on Team USA. He is currently the head coach at Georgetown Prep in Bethesda, Maryland. Prep is always a top high school team in the country, and they have a ton of current alumni playing college lacrosse. Scott really knows the art of shooting, so go ahead and check it out. All right, let's get back to it. Let's take a look at another goal here. You can see that Michigan caused confusion up top with these picks, and we're going to see how it leads Justin to be wide open for a goal. Great feed here, actually. So he doesn't use the pick. He goes the other way, and a lot of times this offensive player would shoot this, but he gets the head up and gets the one more pass across to a wide open Justin for a shot buried. So we'll take another look at it. That one more pass is awesome. Really unselfish play there. All right, we'll take a look at some settled offense by Jacksonville. So this is an unbelievable feed and finish. We'll zoom into it, see a little Canadian-style finish here. And just look at the pace of that feed. I mean, this ball is on a rope right there. Catch, boom, for the, we call that little Canadian-style finish there. Keeps it in the one hand, stays out of the crease. 2-2. Let's take a look at a little more two-man game here from behind the cage. Here we see the two Michigan players right there and the two Jacksonville defenders right here. And what we'll notice here right here is this guy, he doesn't go behind, and it causes a little bit of confusion. So the pick is set there. Jacksonville defender gets through it. But then number 7 here, Kyle Stevenson, gets a nice little roll. And at that point, that D-mid recovers there. And Kyle's got a great inside roll there for the goal. So good move there. I'm not sure if that was the design play of how Jacksonville wanted to defend that situation. The one thing the announcers talked about during this game, Matt Kurtwood was one of the announcers, and he's a buddy of mine. He was saying how it was 80 degrees down there, so it was pretty warm. So these players were pretty hot, especially coming down from Michigan. So they had to deal with those elements in order to, you know, stay fresh throughout the game. And I think that Michigan, the heat might have got to them a little bit because it took them about a half to get going. All right, the first half is winding down here. We can see that Jacksonville is man up. And we get a nice hard shot from up top. And the rebound comes off. Bounces right into a Jacksonville offensive player's hand for the goal. Puts them up 6-5. So you can just see here a nice little heads-up play by 99. To catch it, finish, stays out of the crease. So here the first half is winding down. We see this sustained dodge by this midfielder. Pretty good defense, but Michigan's just kind of ball watching here. We can kind of see here all these heads are looking at the ball where the Jacksonville guy just kind of sneaks to that backside. And just a great feed there across the crease. I mean, it could have been picked off by the goalie, but it wasn't. So it puts them up 8-6. And Jacksonville, you know, got some momentum. And Michigan's in a little bit of hole here. So here you can see Michigan outshot Jacksonville 25-11 in those first half. But the big story was turnovers. Jacksonville only had 3, whereas Michigan had 7. And you can see that the tides will turn here in the second half. But we'll look at a few clips here of the second half. And here we'll take a look at Jacksonville comes out early and gets the first goal of the quarter, puts them up 3. And these midfielders just like to keep on sustained dodging. They just like keep on going. I mean, it's not bad deep. Probably should have slid a little bit earlier to get there. But they get up 9-6. But then that was one of the last goals that Jacksonville had for a long time in the second half. One of the things that happened in the second half was Jacksonville had a lot of opportunities to convert. Like they had some doorstep opportunities and either it was saved or they missed the cage. But if they bury a couple of those, who knows what happens. But if they don't, they give Michigan life, give them some momentum, and that's how Michigan goes on their run. So now I want to talk about turnovers. So Jacksonville here, they're up 3, and then you see to clear the ball, but a turnover leads to a goal. So instead of being with the ball and up 3, they're facing off down 2. So Jacksonville's trying to clear it here, and you can see Jacksonville has some open guys, but Justin picks it off. You know, probably could have made an easier pass. I mean, here we have him, we have him, we have him. I'm not sure how they set up their clear, but instead he tries to, you know, just a bad throw, like right to athletic Justin. Gives it up and then gets it back. Boom, goal, 2-goal game. All right, so here we have some settled offense with Michigan, and this high pick causes some confusion for Jacksonville because they struggle to get through and stay matched up. And then you can see they kind of do an adjacent slide here. Ball watching. This guy right here is ball watching. Doesn't see Michael back here slip around. By the time he figures out, he's already got that step. And then he gets there for a goal, 9-8. So here we're going to take a look at some athleticism by the Michigan defenders. And this is what you defenders out there who are aspiring to play in college should strive to do. So just take a look at here, these ground balls. So Just a little flip up there, then like a hockey play to get it around, reach back and pick it up. And then he's off to the races and scores. That big athletic defender is a transfer from Princeton as well. Let's just look at this again. See that crafty play. Boom. Gets it around. Look at that little hook around, reaching back, picking it up. I mean, that is a game-changing play. Ties the game, 9-9. Let's go Big Blue. So here I want to take another look at Justin Tiernan. Just see how involved and active and maintained in the play he stays. So here he is right here in the middle, and just look at his activity. So he's cutting around, trying to create space, gets the pass, gets the shot off. And there, I mean, it wasn't a great shot. It kind of might have got checked, but it goes, you can see it goes like a couple feet, like right in front of him. But then a high bouncer. And he stays in the play, catches that, scores, stays out of the crease, puts him up 1. And you can kind of see here the concentration to catch that ball and to place it in the back of the net. All right, let's take a look at Justin again, being active there on the crease and getting another goal. So here we go. He's up top. Just look at his activity there. Being active there on the inside. Setting that pick and then rolling off. And then there it's like kind of, I mean, look how he kind of dips his shoulder a little bit to maybe fake the goalie like he's going down low, but then just keeps it high. And you can see here with the two-man game that Jacksonville just not communicating properly. 2 guys going to the ball, leaving him wide open, one of their best offensive players. And you can't leave him on the doorstep like that. He's going to finish up 11-9. So the last goal here that kind of puts the game out of reach for Jacksonville. You can see Jacksonville struggling with those picks. Michael gets his hands free. Boom, goal, puts him up 3. Michigan sideline's happy. They have a nice little celebration here. We'll take a look at it. So Michigan had a good spring break. In fact, their senior faceoff guy was like 72%, I think, in the Jacksonville and Marquette game. So we'll see what they can do. They have a brutal schedule coming up. We'll see how they react. Harvard's going to be tough this week, and then they dive into the Big Ten schedule, which is tough. Hopkins just beat Virginia this past weekend. So we'll keep an eye on Michigan lacrosse. This is Coach Miller with BTB Lax. Talk soon.